Right. Once again, very good morning to all. Today, I'm going to talk about with you about the extension program planning and evaluations. I think this may be a 11th lecture in our schedule, so we have balanced 11th or 10th, maybe 5 lectures or 4 lectures we have to complete. So today we are going to talk about extension program and how that program is planning, how should it monitor throughout the implementation, and then how we evaluate the performance of that program. So this is the definition. There are a lot of definitions there for the extension program. What is mean by the programs? Actually, there are a lot of words, a lot of definitions are there. I'm going to discuss a few of them today. Actually, that program means like it's a kind of distinct meaning is there on the dictionary as well as in the application field. That's kind of example is here as proclamations, prospects, or list of events, plan of procedures, or logical sequence of operations like that. There are some kind of synonyms are there to defines the program. So there are a lot of definitions available for the extension programs, but I only take USDA definitions. Actually, this extension program is kind of cooperatives approach with local people as well as extension staff, right? Therefore, it's a type of approaches to going to fulfill the objectives and the goals. So you go through these definitions. I don't want to further read this what is definitions and how the definitions are come. So only take I took only the USDA definitions. So there are two social scientists who define the extension program is actually the Langans in 1961, who says that extension program is a set of clearly defined, consciously convinced objective. It's derived an adequate analysis of the situation. So that means it's a kind of clearly defines activities are there. Actually, that is objective is defined with kind of pursued kind of target, right? The Lawrence, who in 1962, who says extension program is a sum of total all the activities and the undertaking of the country extension service. So that means there are a lot of definitions are there related to extension programs. So you keep this or only two of these, and USD one, Langans and the Lawrence one. So that in the programs, actually, you know that the program planning process is there, and the written statements are there, plan of works there, and the program of executions are there, and the results after the execution become results, and evaluation is there. These are the main six segments in main six parts in extension programs, right? So when we define in our own way, in our own words, so extension program actually it is a written statement of situation, right? It's a program is already it's a plan. It's a plan. It's mean written statements of the situations that that there it is included. Objectives should be there, then the problem should be there, and what are the solutions, right? Which has been prepared on the basis of an adequate and systematic plan. So that means that program mean that it is already written statements that statement is covered the what are the objective and goals, and then what are the problems and what are solution we are going to bring to that local people. That is prepared in systematic planning process, right? Systematic planning process, and also targeted to specific area, and the given period is there. So this is how we can simply define uh, what is mean by the extension program. So this highlighted words you have to keep in mind: objective, problems, solutions there, and systematic planning is there, and the specific area we are going to cover is also there, and the time is also the factor in extension program. So there are two slides I have put it here about the terminology. So terms you just go through those terms. I have only 2 slides I have put for you to refer what is meant by programs and the plan and plan of works, projects, calendar of works, aims, objective, goal, and planning. So this word will be useful you to follow, or this definition also will be useful you to follow in future or even in the coming lectures regarding the programs, evaluations, program implementation, and monitoring. Right. When you look at the rational value orientation of extension program, actually the rational value orientation that it is assumed there's some kind of systematic approach of problem solving, right? What's the rationale or rational value of that extension program? It is actually kind of a systematic approach of problem solving, but the orientation is of the extension program is systematic approach to problem solving. So there you should know that what is the definition of the problem definitions. Actually, the data gathering and choosing between alternatives hence mean that on the basis of predetermined criteria. So problem definitions means we gather data, we gather data and we select the best alternative from that available alternative. We select best one, and on the basis we have already predetermined criteria. So I think you got my points. So our approach of this extension program is systematic approach to problem solving. So problem is actually we gather data and then find the gaps and then find out what is the best alternative from available one, and that available alternative we select alternative based on predetermined criteria, right? We have already criteria. This one is for that, like that. We have criteria. Based on that criteria, we select alternative, right? We select that alternative to solve the problem. So therefore, we use the data. That is what is called problem definition. So almost you know that everyone is accept the process of planning is very important and necessary for individual, for families, or the business organization. Right? Whatever the thing that planning is kind of very important. And also, its most effective planning effort would be that which achieve the greatest degree of performance of the action, motion, operations, and implied by the set of planning concept which despite the ideal process. So just just what you want to keep in mind is the rational value orientations of the extension planning. Planning is systematic approach of problem solving. The problem is actually find the gaps using the data, right? That gap we are going to fill by available alternatives. That alternative we find out using the predetermined criteria. What the criteria we have, we use to find out that alternative. So this is the value orientations of the extension program planning. So when we go into planning, actually we have a lot of assumptions, right? Numbers of assumptions. We have concept of when you go to the planning, right? Planning actually it is planning is a change necessary prerequisite to the effective social progress of the people and the community. So we assume that the planning is need to go for the effective social progresses, right? The second one is most it will create most desirable change in the predetermined and democratically achieved. That means that it will we expect, we assume it will generate the desirable change in democratic way. And the extension education program, if it is properly planned and implemented, can make the significant contributions to the planned change. So that means that we assume that education program or whatever the extension program we are going to implement, if we properly plan and implement it, it will give a significant contributions to bring the expected change we want to do within the system, or within the agribusiness system, or within the rural community. And also we assumes that it is possible to select, organize, and administer the program that will contribute to the social and economic progress of the people. So that we also here we assume it will possible it is possible to select and organize and administer the program, what the program we are going to implement. So we assume there is a possibility, so we will be able to select what's the alternative available, and then that available alternative can be implemented on the field. So we assume we can select. And also people and communities need guidance, leaderships, and the help of extension educators to solve their problem in the planned systematic way. So that means also we assume people and communities, they need guidance and leaderships to change or to resolve their problem. So these are the few assumptions in extension planning. So just keep in mind there are 5 assumptions. All right, one is it is necessary. That means also change. We can expect it with the necessary change, and we hope with that we can make desirable change. And also the plan is needed to properly implement the programs. And also we hope so we can select possible alternatives. And also we expect or we assume that people and local community need our guidance and leaderships to change their existing system. These are the assumptions. Actually, extension program planning is a kind of process. It's any phenomena which shows a continuous changes in the time or any continuous operation or treatment. So that means that the extension program planning is a kind of continuous process. That process actually may be a events, also kind of ongoing things, kind of ever changing thing, and kind of continuous things. That actually we expect that man cannot discover the structure of physical reality, but man must create it. So that's mean that reality they cannot discover, but they can create it. Right? This definition of the process of suggests that actually involving series of actions to accomplish the goal. Right? I think you got my point. Extension program is a process. Extension program is a process. Right? That may be a continuous and ongoing and continuously changing, and the managing relationship as a dynamic, and also event is there. Right? That process included. And also the man must be created it. Oh, that process is involves numbers of numbers of actions actually action culminates that accomplish the goal. So that's the meaning of extension program planning. That process actually included with numbers of goals and objectives, and the basic 4 categories and 4 areas we have to think in extension program planning. One is objectives. That means that agent expected to be achieved in the area within the specified period of time. That the objective should be there. What is we are going to achieve in the given time. And the mean, that mean the mean of the achieving the objective, why we are going to achieve this objective. The third one is what are the resources needed to fulfill the program, and the work plan. Work plan means schedule of activities. These are the basic 4 elements in the program planning. So when you look at the planning process, actually the time factor and the level of extension organization is highly influenced, right? Highly influenced. So that mean is take as example the program plan in a national level, right? That is why I told you time factor and the level of extension organization. This depends, right? Therefore, as example in national levels, we have 5 years, 10 years plan. But unfortunately here in Sri Lanka, we don't have such kind of national plan. But in other countries, in the national level plans, we have, that's the level is national, time factor is around 5 years like that. And the state level maybe regional or the provincial level, they have annual plans or 2-year plan like that. So time factor is comparatively less in the when we go for the regionals. And the block level, so district level or the village level, it may be a 1 month plan, 2 month plan, or 3 month plan. So therefore, when we look at the planning process, the basic two factors are impact. One is time factor and the level of organization. Right? Keep these two factors. What are the factors affect on the processing in the planning processing? The one is time factor and the level of the extension organization. And a long time plan, actually projected plan is being developed. Actually, systematic budgets is being planned and the annual plan of the work being developed. These are the things actually you no need to worry or no need to keep in mind. What the points you need to keep in mind is time factor and the size of the organization or level of the organization are the factors impact on the planning process or the program planning, right? Program planning. These are the I think you got this basic point here: extension, program planning, and evaluation. So the program means that actually we have a lot of what is called synonymous. So there are a lot of definitions are there. These are the two definitions, right? 2-3 definitions I have taken, and the elements are there: program planning process, written program statements, and the plan of work, execution, results, and evaluation. This is how we simply define in our own words objective, problems, and solutions, and the systematic planning area and the time period is there. And the rationale is the problem solving approach, right? Problem solving systematic approach, and then we know what is the mean by the problem. In planning process, we assume we have 2-3 assumptions regarding the program planning, and it is a process. It is a process. It's a continuous process. It's a continuously changing process. It is an ongoing process. It is related to the relationship dynamic processing process, and also it is a numbers of event continually happening events are there. This is a this is how the process is included, and there are main four semantic areas. Objective means resource and work plan, and with the planning process, actually it is depend on the base, actually the time factor and the level of organization, national level, state level, and the block level. When you look at the planning program planning, there are main what is called steps available. 8 steps are there. One is the data collections, and after that data collected, we going to analyze the situation. We analyze situation analysis there. Then we, after that analyzing, we can identify what are the problems available and what are the issues available there, identifications of the problems, and then we define determinations of the objectives and goal. We define what are the objectives of this program. So what is this? What are the goals of the programs? Then we develops the developments of the work plan of work, and calendar of operations. So we develop work and we put the time frames. That is called development of plan of work and calendar operation. How we implement throughout the year calendar operations, and the follow through the plan and work of the calendar operations. That means we are going to implements that implementation plan. We have work plan and calendar operations, and then we're going to implement in 6 stage. After that, what we do is actually we evaluate that process. We evaluate, we find the information, collect information, and we evaluate. Okay, do we have achieved these objectives at that 7th stage? We evaluate the process. After that, we reconsider. Okay, we achieved that objective, or after achieved, okay, where to go? If it is not achieved, so what we have to do, or re-implement or redo, or what we have to do after the evaluation. That is called reconsideration. So therefore there are 8 steps: data collections, analysis of the situation. After that, identify problems. To solve the problem, we define the objectives and develop work plan and the calendar operations, and then we implement. And then we go for after implementations, we evaluate that process, If it is okay, we can stop. If it is not okay, we can re-implement, so redefine the objectives, and we can again go for with new approach to solve the available problem. That is called reconsideration and revisions of the program. These are the 8 steps. Please keep this in mind. We will actually assess in the exam on the program what is called steps in program planning. So therefore, then what I am going to do is we want to in-depth analysis regarding these 8 steps. So this is first one is actually need assessments. What are the needs of people you serve? So we have to really understands what are the real needs of the people in the area you are going to target, and you have to listen to the people and observe the needs of their lives, and then what we have to do, examine the census or data available, and also we have to examine the other data sources. So first thing is find the data, and we have to assess the needs. Therefore we have to listen to people, we have to observe the people, and we have to analyze the data available, census available, and also we have to find out some other data source. After that, we can assess the data and find out what is the real need. So therefore, you should know what are the other data sources. Then you know that we can listen to the people, we can observe their behaviors and expenses pattern, and whatever the things you want to find out via observation, you can observe and you can talk with these people and find out other things. You have to other informations. You should know what are the data source available in the area and in the country. So the local resources you can find out other data is from the chambers and development districts, human resource agencies, libraries. These are the Department of Human Services, school nutrition supervisor, planning officers, economic development council, health officers. These are the local data resources. You can find out the data for need assessments, and other data actually local and international data also you have to find. State resources, local and provincial administration, national resources, central bank, national census and statistics, regional actually ADB and the Global World Bank, IMF, European, just for your information. So these are the data sources, local resources, and other data resources related to international. From using those other data resources, you can analyze the data and find out the real problem. When you look at the data, now you know you need data, right? For need assessment, you need data, so you can find out listening and observation and other sensors available. And then what you have to do, you can find out from other data. So these are the other data source, local one and international one. The data actually you can what's the data you have or you find, you can actually divide it into two, right? Structured data source, we have actually the data we collected from the predetermined or the some kind of systematic way, right? Typically we are going to collect those data in the formal way. That is called the structured data sources, right? Agricultural land survey data, the database, or what are the available freely available lands for new agricultural activity. So you can go with agricultural land survey data, and that database, that data is available. But I don't know how much accurate that data is. Somewhat available on structured way. Others are actually unstructured data source, actually called unstructured informations that either does not have predetermined data or model, or we cannot actually organize or predetermine mind the real value of the data. So as example, purchasing power of the people. So we have some understanding, we have some basic information regarding the purchasing power of the people, but it is kind of unstructured. It is highly variable with the segment of the society or target area. Therefore, that data category we consider as a unstructured data source, right? You know that we need data for need assessments. Now you know what are the local and international data resources. The data what you find, you can divide it into structured data and unstructured data, right? So that after that, what you do is you have to analyze. You have to analyze this data for identify the real problem or real issue, the issue of the where you are going to targets, or where you are going to implement the projects, right? We have to analyze. So that understanding is given by the different analysis with their normal data analysis, normal statistical analysis. Other than we have social data analysis tools like gender analysis, stakeholder analysis, and the value chain actor analysis, and the participatory assessment and planning, and participatory learning and actions, and rapid appraisal of agricultural knowledge system, and participatory poverty analysis. These are the different tools you can use in the social system analysis. I think some other lecturers may have covered in social research methodology and social research lectures this how this analysis are going to do, right? Gender analysis, stakeholder analysis, value chain act analysis, participatory assessment and planning, right? Participatory learning and action, rapid appraisals. These are the few types of tools you can use to analyze the situation, right? Analyze the situation. So I think you have some kind of a basic understanding about these tools, right? There you have some understanding about the target audience, where what are the people categories, or the farmer categories, or the target audience, right? Target audience that has to be actually there some kind of identified needs. Who is the most affected by the selected issue? Who is the benefited of from having issue addressed by with education? Who is the most at risk for this problem, and for whom is the need greatest? Advisory groups are often helpful identify actually targets audience. So that means the you have data, then you are analyze using this kind of what is called social research tool, and then there you should have some kind of thorough understanding about the target audience, right? Target audience is actually these are the people who are highly affected by the issue, and that affected by the people, how we are going to address this issue with the education, and who are the people with the most risk with this issue, and how they can get greatest from this project, right? So last point is actually advisory groups, they can help to identify the targets of the people who are working with the grounds, or who are working with the farmers. They have that thorough understanding, so they can help to the project peoples or program peoples to identify the targets audience, right? Who are the people highly affected by this issue, and how we can address. That's the last point. And also actually also the people who are going to planning, they have to listen to the advisory groups at the time of planning, because one of the most effective way to assess needs and the plan programs to meet those end is the work with the advisory groups. Because if there is advisory groups, you should work with them, because those are the people who have thorough understanding about the real requirement of the targets area. Therefore, we have to work closely with the advisory. We have to listen. These are the people actually representatives, right? Representatives in the geographically, some kind of politically, and racially, ethically, socio-economic diversities, right? Selected area. And the importance of involving non-traditional and underserved clientele cannot be underestimate, right? That means actually, give me 1 minute. And the what's the third points actually I want to highlight is we have to involve with the non-traditional underserved clientele, because that information available with this is very information. Most of the time it is underestimated. So therefore, first we have to listen to the advisory groups. These are the people who are highly worked with the those kind of area, actually remote area. They have that information, and the representatives in those area, maybe geographically, right? Maybe politically, maybe racially. Racial means you go to temple and we go to the church or whatever the area. Maybe ethnic leaders, socio-economic leaders. So these are the we have to touch with that representatives, right? And also we have to touch with the non-traditional categories, actually underserved client base. They also have good information to find out the real problem as well as the solutions. And also people will share their needs and goals if we ask, right? If we ask. Advisory groups also actually representations from the community, coalitions and government agencies, maybe other government institutes and other important local institutions. Therefore, at the time of data analysis, we have to listen to the different types of groups, not only advisory groups. Even I could listen to the advisory group as a title. You have to listen to advisory group. You have to listen to the representative geographically, politically, racially, and ethical and socio-economic, and the non-traditional, non-serving, underserving client base of the area. And if you ask, they will tell you what are their goals and what are the real requirements, right? Requirements to be solved. Right. So after that, actually, now you know that we need to assess the need assessment. So we listen, observe, find the data from different local sources and international source. After that, you can categorize that data actually into structured data and unstructured data. We analyze that data using this kind of tools, gender, stakeholder, like these are the few tools, right? Then you have to find out the real target audience, and also you have to find out the target representative groups, advisory group, representative, non-traditional categories. After that, actually, you can identify the issues. You can identify the problems available in the target audience. Real problem, what is the real problem you have to be solved via this extension program. That issues actually you also can divide it into two. One is distinguished issues. Second one is undistinguished issues, right? As example, I am telling you forest fire, right? Forest fire is a distinguished. You can clearly identify, right? You can clearly identify as a problem, right? Distinguished issues actually fire prevention and home safety is the area you have to consider, right? Teachable moments and speed adoption is there. Taking advantage of teachable moment, speed adoption of the recommended safety and fire prevention practices, right? As example, you have to keep in mind there are two types of issue. One is distinguished, one is undistinguished. Actually, issues are just like to be hidden from the casual observation. As the undistinguished means you cannot identify the real issue via the casual observation. So we go to the field and go to the meet the farmers and observes, but the real issue actually is hidden. Therefore, you cannot identify easily. That's called undistinguished issue, right? As example, personal bank corruption rate. So the people now, the people are taking loans from the banks and they So due to some reason, due to many reasons, actually they are not available to pay back that money to the bank. So they will corrupt. They will be bankrupted. So therefore, the rate will be increased. So how we can identify that issue by observing? So it is very difficult. So therefore, actually, there should have some kind of way to identify the undistinguished issues available with the rural community. People may not be willing to discuss actually those kind of things because the kind of things like effect to their ego, effect to their recognitions, and effect to their morality, so effect to their status. So the people actually may they are not actually happy to discuss this type of this kind of issues, right? So therefore, you have to have good knowledge. What are the tools you should going to implement and use to identify the undistinguished issues available with the community, right? Affected individual actually just don't stand up, say, right, I have a problem managing my money and I need help, right? Imagine you are with the group of farmers or training class, and actually they will not tell you actually I have a money managing problem, I have an income problem, I have a feeding problem. So just sometimes they just take only one or two foods for the day, but actually they will not communicate. So they feel sometimes they feel shy, right? So therefore, as a social expertise in extension, we should have knowledge regarding how to understand and undistinguish issues. What you have to keep in mind is after the analysis, after the listen to the different groups, you can identify two issues. One is distinguished issue. Second one is undistinguished issues, right? Undistinguished issues. After that, actually, you can identify the problems. The proper analysis and interpretation of the data shall help you to correctly identify the problem, right? After that, you can identify the problem. Imagine the potential lead and actual lead. Only urgent and significant one which may be solved with the available resources and with the limited time should be selected, right? So what the thing you need to keep in mind in this stage, actually you have to go with proper analysis and interpretations. Then what you can do is you can identify the problems. After that, what you have to do is you have to find out objectives and goals. Objectives and goals, actually these are two words, two definitions, two approaches, objectives and goals, but only here I'm talking about the objectives. Objectives are actually set on the basis of significant need identified, right? What are the significant needs? Those are identified, which are called objectives. Maybe that should be direct and clear. To make this objective, actually it should be realistic and actionable. And to find out it could actually be done in the existing situations with the available resources and time. And also it should be compatible with the people who are going to implement. So that's called objectives, right? Objective is we call it significant needs we identified via the assessments of the available data, right? Keep in mind the objective is significant need we identified. It should be very direct and very clear, and it should be realistic and actionable, and actually should be actually it should be able to done in the existing situation with the available resources and time. Also should be compatible, right? The all the people actually these days we talk about the smart objectives. So I'm just go through one slide. So we have to, you should be able to actually write the specific or very proper or very correct objective of the for the project, right? Objective tells specifically who will achieve what when the program is conducted, right? Who will achieve and what when in the conduct. Achievement should be measured in a tangible way. Actually what are the things you're going to implement, you should be able to uh, tangibly measured An objective also actually is that the real work is not needed to achieve them, and the people need to challenge to succeed. So therefore, actually, some kind of difficulties also should be included with the objective. It should not be a simple thing. The objective should be some kind of challengeable. The people are happy to work with challengeable objectives, and objective also should target the audience the greatest concern. So that means that the objective should be a highly concerned what is the real requirements of the targets relations, right? Then oh, right, shall we start for 5 minutes break here? So it's 11:30.
Okay, sir.
Right, shall we start once again?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, up to now we discuss about the objective and how that it should be. We discuss it should be actually tangible and should be measured and like that. Right, actually it should be smart, and actually most of people they know about the smart objective. Should be specific, measurable, achievable, and realistic, and time bound. So that's how that objective is derived, right? So the specific mean actually should be very well defined. You have to define that it's for the students should be observable to the teachers as who, what, when, where, and why. That's the area to be specific. And the measurable means that can be evaluated, subjective, or either it's reach or not, right? All the objectives should be measurable, that we can achieve or we already achieved or reach or not measurable. And achievable, right? That that's it should be able to achieve the given time frames. Achievable, that's as example, student are academically ready to for that as an example. I give some understanding for you, and also should be relevant. If it should be relevant to them, to relevant to the farmer or relevant to the local peoples. And the time bounds. The time bounds means that there should have considerable times to implement this project. Actually, it should not be a big time or the higher time, so more than 2, 3, 4 like that, or it should be a lesser time. So it should be actually exact or real amounts of time or enough time should be there to achieve this objective. Therefore, specific should be measurable, achievable, relevance, and time bound. So actually how to write objective, and how what are the characteristics of objectives, and how it's defines to achieve the specific goals, and how it at the end how it converted into the solutions of the target populations, right? Actually, after that, now you find the data, then you analyze the data, then you listen to the different groups and identify the issue. You identify the distinguished or undistinguished issue. Then you write. Then after that, you identify the problems. Right after that, you what we did is write the objectives. Right, then you have to find out the solutions. Right, find out the solutions to resolve the real problem of the principal target area. Therefore, actually, looking for solutions to the local problems, it should be distinguished between technical solutions and that involving include input or simple change in the practice. So, solution actually which involve maybe sometime institutional change, improve a credit marketing system, or some kind of other social change of the system, right? Then what we have to do is second next step is finding solutions. Now you write the problems, then you have to find in solutions. finding solutions is you know that you have source of data. After that, extension agent on, they have technical knowledge regarding the area they are going to implement, right? Extension agent, they have technical knowledge, and farmers and agents from other areas who can tackle the similar problems successfully. That means the how you find the solution is you can find out similar cases and how that similarly resolves. So that is the one way you can find in the solutions for the problem. And also applied research are there which already test new ideas under farm conditions, and then what you have to do is then you can find out the solutions. And the national priorities and directives also, they also given guidance. The in national priorities, they are guidance. So these are the area you want to consider in this 5 years, and these are the crops you want to implement in higher capabilities and higher or intensive manner in this year, or like that. National priorities and directives are guided due to finding solutions, and the project which make funds available have a particular activity also. Sometimes actually that project who are going to funding, they also come with some kind of solution. These are the way you can find out the sources or find out the solutions. So one is extension agents in the area who have technical knowledge regarding that particular problem, and they have their own solution. So what we have to do is we have to expect that solutions or knowledge within the system to resolve the problem. And if not, we can find out similar cases who successfully resolve, right? How that agents and farmer who tackle this problem, similar cases, and what we have to do in that case, we can identify. This is how they identify problem and resource, and we are going to implement same problem solving approach in the area we are going to target. And then actually we can find out the solution via the applied research who tested this kind of things under farm conditions, and we can bring those to the field. And the national priorities and directives, that means actually in the national level, we have in priority areas are given, they have identified priority area to be implemented. From there we can identify the ideas, or we can find out the solutions. And if not, actually the people who are going to go for funding, actually they have their own activities to be implemented. So from there also we can find out the solutions. So these are the sources. These are the sources we can find out the solutions to the farmers. Actually, if we find out that solutions, that we have to select the correct solutions. It should be, we are telling that it should be a participatory solution identification process. That participatory means it should be agreed by the program as well as the farmer. Okay, it should be a participatory mean all the stakeholders come together and find out the solution. So that means even we are telling that we have this kind of options to find out solution, it should be agreed with the farmer as well as the program. So that solution therefore should be acceptable to the farmer in the area. The farmer should happy with the solutions. They should accept it, right? They should accept that the thing we are going to implement. Otherwise, they will not support, and the project will not sustainable, or sometimes if they not support well, the implementation also very difficult. Therefore, it should be acceptable to the farmer in the area, and it should be technically sound and tested by the research experience. Sometimes actually some project was failed because the first time some technologies are going to test it with the project. So if we go like that, so that failure is the 50%. So sometimes success or sometimes fail. So therefore it should be a technically sound and already tested, and the research experience should be there, and the consistent with the national policies, right? So the project always consist with national policies. If national policies is is going something else, and you are going to do something else, and it will crash in the field. So then what happens is supports from the government body, agencies, and the other environment will be discourage your implementation process. Therefore, should be consist with the national policy and with the local activities of the agencies, and it should be feasible within the time period, and the resources available to the farmer and extension.
இதுல வந்து பொருளாதாரம் பெரும்பாலும் இயங்குவாரு அந்த அளவுக்கு தெரியாது தெரிஞ்ச வரைக்கும் எடுத்துக்கிட்டோம்.
And also please mute up your mic. It is disturbed others to be listening or concentrate lecture. If you have something, please mute up your mic. And it should be within the scope. Actually, it should be the agent should be ability to do within his job description. It should be the scope. Should be within the scope. Therefore, the solution when you are selecting, you have to be carefully think it will accept by the farmer. Is it technically sound? It is consistent with the national policy and feasible with the time and resource available. And also, these are the activities should be the within the scope of the local agents and the government agents. So therefore, it should be within the scope. If it is not fulfill this kind of requirement, the possibility to the fail or possibility to unsuccess or possibility to the crash will be happening in the field. So therefore, selected solution is a kind of very critical when you are implementing the project in the field. Right. As example, I am putting here the problem is local shortage of the maize problem. Local shortage of the maize. Potential actually, some local farmer have increased maize yield 30 to 40% by using improved seed and animal manure. Most farmers have plenty of manure but do not use it. Right? It is a potential. Right? Problem is local shortage of maize, and they can increase their yield by 30 to 40% by using improved seed and the animal manure. The solution A is increase the size of small farms and introduce labor saving technique, right? Labor saving technique, not feasible and not accessible additional lands. So what we have to do is increase the size of small farmers and introduce labor saving techniques. Those are not feasible and not accessible additional land. So solution B, encourage larger mechanized farm to grow more food crops not acceptable and poor farm families could not buy the foods. Right? Option C, enable small farmers to increase yield, right? The price of feasible using better varieties and the tested husbandry, the animal husbandry improvements. Right? From that solutions, what we can do is the solution C is most preferred solutions. And then we can define objectives. Raise yield by 30% on 20% of the farms in the area in the first year. This is a small objective, right? After that, the immediate objective, you can take 50% of farmer will learn on the benefit and will acquire the skill of using manure. 50% of farmer will learn benefit of new variety. 20% of farmer will plant improved variety. There's sub-objectives or specific objectives we can define. So problem is shortage of maize, then we can identify the potential and what are the solution. From that, we can find out what is preferred solution. Then we go for the objective, then we can go for specific objective. Then we can develop plan of work. Establish demonstration plots on the 10 farms or the public meeting, film show on the 10 villages, like that. Like that, you can plan your works. After that, what are the supported few needs? Then find out what are supported few needs. Subject matter specialist to speak about the speak at the public meetings, attend the demonstrations, answer the farmer questions, adequate supply of seed at the right time to the local stores, and the farm broadcast include relevant items to the appropriate time of the year. These are the additional supports you need to the project. This is how you are going to, that's example for the project, how you can segment it. The area up to now you learn, identify the problem, potential solution, prepared solution, objective, specific objective, vector, supported need. Right? Then you at the and next stage, now you are in the planning session. Now you have to plan of planning outcomes. Right? Planning outcome actually what you ultimately expected to change. Right? What is the ultimate expectation, ultimate outcomes you are expecting, right? And to host the day for the litter collections and the, as example, I'm telling the planning outcomes. Planning the outcomes is there are three types of outcomes there in the plan, right? Long-term outcome. Then we can find out main three types of outcome: learning outcome, action outcome, and condition outcome. These are the outcomes we are expecting after the implementation, right? Learning outcome, action outcome, and the condition outcome. Right? Describe the learning outcome. Actually, it is describe the short-term outcome, maybe knowledge, maybe attitude, maybe skills, or maybe aspirations. Right? Maybe aspirations. This is a learning outcome. Person who get additional knowledge, who change attitude, who acquire skills. So sometimes who change his mindset, aspiration, learning outcome. Action outcome is in the midterm, actually his changes behavior. His changes behavior. In the condition outcome, actually long run result after the 5 years with the learning outcome and the action outcome. What is the what happened in the long run? Right? These are the we are in the planning session, we expect planning outcome. There are three types of planning outcome. One is learning outcome, action outcome, and condition outcome. Right? As example, right, parenting education issue. We have identified as a parenting education issue. What is the learning outcome? What is the expecting learning outcome? Parent increase knowledge of child education. Right? It's a learning outcome. Parent learn new way to discipline. Learning outcome. Parent become aware of community resource that will be helped them. Immediately they in the learning outcome we discuss knowledge, attitude, skill, or aspiration. Here, learning outcome, parenting education, they know the importance of the child education, so apply the resources available like that. Learning outcome. Action outcome is parent practice input parenting skills. So what mean that parent education? They will practice it. This action. So they change their behavior. Parents use local parenting resource centers and use other sources to increase. They are going to adapt with the available resources and they practice it. That condition outcome is reduce rate of child abuse and the neglect. Right? These are the condition. Condition means what is long run change in the system. I think when you talk about the planned outcomes, right? There are three types of outcomes are there. One is learning outcome, one is action outcome, third one is a condition outcome. As example, I have put here how that learning outcome is concentrate its knowledge to attitude, its skill or aspiration. After that, they will change their behavior. It will consider as action outcome. After that, actually learning outcome and action outcome practicing long run, it will come to the condition outcome. This is how you explain it. Parenting education, how it impact to the in long run way, reduce the rate of child abuse or child education or child neglect, whatever things. Right? Plan outcome. Plan of work and calendar works actually, you know that after that the calendar works, you have to you have to develop their plan work should be written in the form that plan work. You have to written who shall do what jobs, right? Who shall do what job, who are the people doing this jobs and what kind of jobs they have to do. What are the change agent system, client system, what are the institutions, what are the other organizations who involve, what are the other service departments. So these are the plan of work and calendar of the operations. So that means plan of work. Who do this job? Who do that job? What the change agent is doing? Who are the client system? What are the institutions? The other institution, maybe government or private institutions who involved with this system or this process, and what are the other organizations, what are the other service organizations who are going to implement that kind of plan work we are here talking, right? Plan should be actually have essential details and unimportant point should be left out, right? Should be a focus to the important focal and unimportant point should be removed. And the calendar of operations shall be prepared on the basis of plan of work, right? That means that now you have plan of work, activities, institution, client system, and job descriptions and service departments. Then what you have to do is you put all the operations throughout the calendars according to the requirements, right? Delivering, design, and the delivering means that how this activity is going to deliver. Actually, it is a design the learning program is a set of learning opportunities provided for the specific audience. Yeah, we are going to offer something for a specific audience. It has a specific measurable objectives, and anyone deliver method alone does not continue with the program, right? And all the teaching technique we use in the extension education as a experiential, reinforcement, integrative, and others, right? And the right mix of these methods needs to be used for the program. So what we mean here, plan of work you design, who do, what do, where do, with organization and other service departments, and then find out the work plan. Then you put it into the calendar, and then you have to deliver it. When you deliver it, it will be experiential and the reinforcement and integrative, right? It should be actually mix. There should be a correct mix. If you want some other resources, you can recruit and train volunteers to implementation or delivering the process and the tuition conducting programs actually just for the fulfillment of this program. And the managed program resources actually managing the resources is kind of very important. So maybe money, maybe equipments, maybe machinery, maybe process, or maybe humans. So we have to manage this program resources where we should have this kind of competencies, right? Should be available with program planning, implementation, evaluation, working with the people, right? Personal and professional development and other personal skill and management responsibility. These are the kind of competencies you should have, right? Then you have to do is now you implement, you deliver, right? You find out volunteers to implement it. Then what you have to do is to follow up, right? Not routine type of work. It is a training type of participant, communication automating, making regular visits, monitoring are the same important concerns, solving unforeseen problem and taking corrective steps where you need it, right? Follow-ups, right? I think you go with the basic steps, plan of work, calendar works, and then you deliver it. If you want, you can recruit volunteers or trainers to the project, all right? Then you teach, and you have to be careful of managing resources. So then what you have to do is follow-ups, right? Then we come to the second session of this presentation, that is evaluations. So I think you have some understanding about the other steps. What to do is you have to find out the data, right? Then you know about what are the data source. Then you find out the type of data. Then you collect all data and then you categorize it to the what is called measurable data or distinguished data or undistinguished data, and then you find out analyze tools. Then after that you find out the issues, right? After that you identify the problems. Then you define objectives. Then you make work plan and the calendar activities. After that you deliver it. where the time you deliver in, you have to find out how to manage the resources. After that, you go with the follow-up session. Then your project is actually 50 or 85% or 90% is finished. Then what you have to do is you have to evaluate, you have to check with the thing you implement is correctly answer the objective we define at the beginning of the project, right? At the beginning of the project. So therefore, monitoring and evaluation is kind of very important segment in extension program planning, right? Their evaluation as applied to the field extension education as defined as a process of systematic appraisal by which we determine the value and the worth to mean in the activities of an enterprise, right? But the red color thing you have to do is the process of systematic appraisal. Evaluation is a process by which the value of enterprises are ascertained or analyzed, by which one is available to understand an appropriate relevant metrics and deficiencies of the person's group, program, situation, method, and process, right? Evaluation. It is a kind of process. We analyze with the with available, and then we can understand and appreciate, right? We can understand, like, okay, we go there, we finish, we implement this project, right? It is good. Then we can appreciate the relevant metrics. If there is a deficiencies in the program, in the groups, the situation, and the method and the process, then what we can do is we can redefine and reconsider the process. Therefore, monitoring is the supervising activities in progress to ensure they are on course, on schedule, in meeting objective performance targeted, right? Monitoring carefully. Actually, it is supervising activities progresses that they have to ensure it is on course, on schedule, in meeting objective and performance targeted. You know that their targeted objectives are there. So are they aligned with this? That is called monitoring. So therefore, monitoring and evaluation is a process that helps to improve the performance and achieve the result. Right? Monitoring is a continuously happening thing. Evaluation is actually do at the end. Keep in mind, monitoring is a part of continuous implementation. Monitoring continually do parallel to the implementation. Evaluation is actually do at the end. Right? It's a process that helps improve the performance and the achieve results. Actually, it's due to improve current and future management output to outcome and impact. To assess the performance of the project, institution, program set up by the government and international organization, NGOs. So what to do? You can assess the performance, maybe in the project or institution, maybe program, or maybe government or organization, whatever thing. It is established links between past, present, and future action. So that means it is a continuous process, right? It will help to improve current and future management output, outcome, and impact, right? That can use maybe project to institute, program to whatever the segment in the project in the value chain, and it will establish link in present, past, or future actions, right? Type of evaluation, then you know, right? Monitoring evaluation is a process of systematic appraisal, and the monitoring is a continuously your check. This project is going according to the schedule. Monitoring, and that can be used to check the performance and impact of the project. And the type of evaluations are there. One is self-evaluation individually. We can evaluate our performance by ourselves. Self-evaluation is to be carried out by every extension worker. Personnel should be carried out their own evaluation, and it is this requires self-critical attitude to is essential for extension work. Even the individual extension worker, they should have their own evaluation system, which is for self-evaluation. It is somewhat critical. And chances to extension worker growing and continuously improving his professional competency become greater. Therefore, basic thing is self-evaluations by ourselves. We evaluate ourselves by our own criteria. And other type of evaluations are available. That one is internal evaluation. Evaluation carried out by the agency who is responsible for the planning and implementation of the program. Internal audit, like this, internal evaluation, that the person who organize, who plan, who implement the program, what they do is they evaluate using their own method. So this is project we implement. So do we achieve? That is called internal evaluation, like internal audit. Right? External evaluation is conducted by the person committee outside the area of operation. That's the planning, implementation, organizing is done by one people. Some outside people who bring here and outside people who check. That is called external evaluation. Also, there are some other types of evaluation also are there. This one is a formative evaluation. The program activities is feasible, appropriate, acceptable. It is actually do before the fully implemented. Formative evaluation is before the evaluation, that before the implementation, we check that outside people who come are feasible, is it appropriate, is it etc. They check. That is usually conducted when a new program or activity is being developed, or when existing one is being adapted or modified. That when we are going to adapt or change the existing one or new one, we evaluate before implementing. Okay, is it feasible or appropriate? This is called formative evaluation. And the process evaluations can determine whether program activities have been implemented as intended. The process check, we check the process. Is it actually implemented as we expected? Right? Process evaluation. Outcome evaluation actually measure the program effect in the target population by assessing the progress in the outcome and outcome objective that program is achieved. Right? Then last one is impact evaluation, assess the program effectiveness in achieving the ultimate goal. These are the few types of evaluations. One is self-evaluation individually, extension worker who assess his performance by himself. And these are the other type is external and internal. The people who internally engage in the project, they check and evaluated, it is called evaluation, and the external people come and check, this is called external. And the formative, before the project, they check it is appropriate, and the progress or the process evaluation, at the time of implementation, they check that it is happening as it is, and outcome evaluation, they check about the outcome, and the impact evaluation, in here we long run, they check that impact is came or not. Right? Plan evaluation establish outcome indicators actually where you prefer to succeed. So how well you did this. So this is for your information. These are the important points you have to keep in mind. Self-evaluation, internal, external, and formative, process, outcome, and what is called impact evaluations. These are for just for your information. And the last two slide I want to just tell you. Then after that, what you have to do is you check, collect indicator data, and collect indicator data, and maybe simple or show and complex maybe mail questionnaire and find out the data. And what you have to do, you have statistical software, and then you evaluate it. Then after that, you can find out these are the changes we expected, maybe knowledge, maybe attitude, maybe skill, maybe aspirations, right? Do they change or not? You can check out. After that, actually, these are about, we have to write the reports regarding the project we implement. These are the percentage we change the attitude level, and these are the things we already achieved. These are the area we are not achieved. These are for your, just for your information, and how to write this impact statement, and how to write the report. This is a what area you want to intensively look at. And then you have to follow up. And the reconsideration is coming to after that. Actually, now you implement the project, then you evaluate using the information. Then you have to reconsider. Do we establish or again implement or go with new project? Right, that is called reconsideration. So these are the things actually I want to share with today regarding extension program and planning. So now you know what is mean by program. There are parts, there are segments in the program. These are simply we define, right? The rationale is problem solving. When we planning, we assume this type of assumptions are there, right? It is a process. That process is including this kind of segment, objective, mean, resource, and work plan, right? It is based on the level and the time factor, maybe national, state, or block level. It can be varied. There are 8 steps in extension program planning: data collection, situation analysis, and identification of the problem. And then we go with work plan, and then what to do: implementation, evaluation, and reconfiguration. Therefore, we need data for assess the need assessment. We find data from local resource and international resource. That data we can define into two: structured data and unstructured data. That data we can analyze using this kind of tool, general stakeholder evaluation like tool we can use to analyze. There we have to think about what is our real target audience. To identify that, we have to listen to the advisory group, representative, and non-traditional categories of that area. From that, we can identify the issues available in the area we are going to target. That issues can be the issues. There are 2 types of issues. One is distinguished issues and undistinguished issues. Distinguished mean easily you can identify. Undistinguished is by observation you can't correctly identify. After that, you can identify the problem. To solve that problem, we go for the objectives. That objective should be SMART. So therefore, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Right? That objective. Then we have to find out the solutions. That solution we can find out from many ways. So these are the solution finding ways using extension agent knowledge and using previous successful case studies and research and national priorities and project priorities. That solution we find out should be acceptable by the farmer, technically sound. It should be matched with the national policy, feasible, and should be matched with the scope. This is example for you to how that project is there. Then there we expect plan outcome. There are 3 types of plan outcome is there. One is learning outcomes, action outcome, and condition outcome. Right? These are the example. Then you have to plan work. Who are going to do this? What are the systems and what are the client system institutions? These are called plan of work. Then calendar of operations. We put all the activities in the calendar. That is called calendar of operation. Then you have to deliver. Right? They deliver this project to the education activities to the people. Therefore, experimental, reinforcement, and integrative extension education should be there, technique should be there, or mix should be there. If you want, you can recruit volunteer or trainer student, and then you conduct the program. When you conduct the program, you have to be careful with managing resources. Then you have to be follow up the session. That is called implementation. And then you have to check that implementation is successful or fail. If it is successful, we can give merits for the people who successfully completed. If not, then there is kind of deficiencies of the person, group, program, situation, method, or process. We call this is monitoring and evaluation. Monitoring is actually continuously checking the process of the implementation is called monitoring, and evaluation is actually done by at the end of the project. So therefore, there are few types of evaluations are there. One is self-evaluation. Individually, ourselves evaluate our activities. It is called self-evaluation. And other types is actually internal evaluation and external evaluation. People who implement the project, those people who evaluate, it is called internal evaluation, and other people, other evaluator who come from outside the project area who call external evaluation. And also there are few types of evaluation is there. One is called formative evaluation. Before the project implementation, they check it is feasible, acceptable, or appropriate. It's called formative. And at the time of implementation, it is called process. We check that evaluation, it is called process evaluation. And then third one is the outcome evaluation. We check outcome, and the impact evaluation is the long run way. We check the impact how can be happen. Right. Then actually what we have to do is the evaluation process. If you go thoroughly, we have to collect the data and use of different software we can analysis. After that, we should make the reports, the successful implementation, no failures or whatever things. We have the reports, right? That is no need to keep in mind. Then what we have to do is, if it is successfully done, we can finish the project. So if it is failed, we can come with a new solution, or we can stop, or we can go away from the project. This is the things I want to share with you regarding extension program planning and evaluations, right? So I think with that I can conclude the sessions today.